What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global here, back with another video, and the New England Patriots have made several free agent signings already, and we haven't actually technically started free agency. Free agency doesn't actually start till, well, today. The Patriots have been making their moves throughout the past couple days of the legal tampering period. In this video, I'm going to be going over each and every single signing and giving my quick thoughts, but ultimately going to be giving a grade on each of these signings so far from the Patriots' day one of legal tampering. So let's make that clear. Day one of legal tampering. And you know what? I'm just going to throw Hunter Henry in there also, just because they really only made one signing. If you guys do want to know about these players, you want a full analysis, I made videos on each and every single one of these guys, made a playlist. I'll link it in the description below and pin in the first comment below if you want to know more about your New England Patriots players. Before we get into that one though, I do want to wish you guys all a happy 1-year anniversary since Tom Brady sadly left the New England Patriots. So I guess not really wish you anything happy, but it's our anniversary since the New England Patriots dynasty changed forever. So with that being said, let's just take a minute. All right, the minute's over. But the New England Patriots started free agency off with a bang. They started upgrading the tight end position right away as they signed former Tennessee Titans tight end Jonnu Smith. Now, if you see me looking down, it's because I got my details here, but they signed him to a 4-year contract, $50 million deal that includes $31.25 million in guaranteed money. Overall, I'm a really big fan of this signing. Jonnu Smith is a really good player. I'm going to give this an A for the New England Patriots. Straight off the bat, you get an upgrade at the tight end position. You get a young buck too. He's, I believe, 25 years old. So the New England Patriots are getting a young guy in his prime. They have so much time to help develop this young tight end, and he's somebody who is not a one-dimensional tight end. He's going to help the Patriots out in run blocking. He's going to help them as a receiver, but he's going to bring that aspect back in a Rob Gronkowski in the sense of being somebody who is dangerous after the catch. I would say he's much better at that than a Hunter Henry, and like Belichick said, he's one of the best in the league at doing so. Of course, it is also worth noting that he only has about a cap hit of about $4.5 million for the 2021 season. Something big about a lot of these guys' contract is that they're very incentive-based, meaning that it is a lower overall cap hit for these players than we're thinking. We're seeing these big contracts and we're thinking, you know, they're making a high end of 10 to 15 million straight off the bat. But again, a lot of it is incentive-based for a lot of these players. So the Patriots have more cap space than we thought, because their overall cap hit is a little bit lower. Next up, the New England Patriots are addressing the defense, more specifically the defensive line, as they signed defensive tackle Devin Godshaw to a 2-year deal worth up to $16 million, includes $9 million. I'm going to give this one a B. I like Godshaw. I'm not as big on him as some other people are. He's definitely going to help the Patriots out as a run stopper. He's going to be a big body within the middle. He has the ability to pass rush. He's not going to be great. If he's the Patriots' number one leader on that defensive line, within the interior of their defensive line, I do have some question marks. They are getting some depth there for the long term there, 2 years. And like I said, it's worth up to $16 million. That doesn't mean he's getting 16. Again, this is one of those other very high incentive-based contracts where he can earn up to $16 million, but $9 million guaranteed. We're gonna have to see how it pans out, but I do feel like the Patriots just spent a little bit high here on Godshaw. Now, next up here, the New England Patriots made a signing that is easily hands down one of my favorite signings and was probably one of the biggest shocks outside of Hunter Henry, and that is the fact that they signed linebacker Matthew Judon to a 4-year deal worth $56 million with $32 million over the first 2 seasons. Now, something that I do like to do when we do sign new players is go ahead and see how the fans of the former team are reacting. And I was seeing a lot with Ravens fans that some people were upset, but some people were like, good, go ahead, take him. A lot of Ravens fans, I think, were more salty about Matthew Judon leaving, but I think people just have concerns overall with Matthew Judon, and is he going to be consistent? From the vibes I'm getting, he's someone that, with the Ravens, was a guy who 1 week he could be going off. He could record 5 sacks in a game, and then the following week you're asking where the heck was Matthew Judon. So inconsistency is going to be a question mark with him. I think if anyone's going to help iron that out, it's definitely going to be Bill Belichick. Overall, Matthew Judon is a great player, been to the Pro Bowl the past 2 years, so they're getting a Pro Bowl talent to help them at the linebacker position, also help them on the defensive line. 2 of the most important needs that the Patriots had on defense. The Patriots overpay him. Some say yes, some say no. I think this is going to be one of those things where we kind of just have to see as time goes on. But let's remember, guys, that when the Patriots signed Stephon Gilmore a few years ago, so many people said that, wow, they overpaid him hard. Now we look back on it and no, they didn't. In fact, they possibly got a steal for him. So overall, again, I'm going to give this Matthew Judon an A for a signing. Now, next up here, the New England Patriots went and they signed a cornerback, former Philadelphia Eagle in Jalen Mills. He's also goes as a safety, so you can kind of list him as corner or safety. But they signed him to a 4-year deal, $24 million, which would be $6 million per year, and the deal includes $9 million guaranteed. Now, I'm going to give this one a B+. I kind of was going back and forth between maybe an A- and a B+, but I think a B+ is more accurate. I actually like Jalen Mills a lot. I like his energy. He's someone who's off the field is going to be someone that I think Patriots fans are really going to like. He goes by the Green Goblin because of his hair. He's someone that has a lot of swag both on and off the field, according to a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans that I've talked to about this move. And he was someone that was a fan favorite for the defense over in Philadelphia. Now, I think $6 million a year really isn't bad, you know, for what the New England Patriots could potentially be getting for him. I just kind of have some question marks on where is he playing, how is this whole thing gonna work out. He is the definition of depth. He's gonna give the Patriots depth and versatility. He's the definition of versatility, I mean, not the definition of depth. He has played at safety, you know, free safety, in the box, in the slot, outside corner. He plays everywhere. So the question mark is going to be, is it at safety or is it at corner? This past year, he had a bit of a down season just because he's kind of had to take a step above what he's used to because the Philadelphia Eagles were dealing with injury issues in their secondary. But, you know, I believe that if anybody is going to help Jalen Mills in his career and get the best out of his play and figure out what position he's best at, it's going to be Bill Belichick. He's just a master within secondary players. Now, next up here, the New England Patriots re-signed one of their own players as they signed or re-signed defensive lineman Dietrich Wise. I'm going to give this one an A+. Now, we don't really know what he's making, so I guess I'm going to give this one an A just because we don't really know what he's making, but I'm expecting it to not be too much, and I just love the addition of Dietrich Wise. He was a player that I thought could leave, but he's another fan favorite for the Patriots, a guy who is just great on and off the field. He has been super underrated. He has been the most consistent pass rusher for the New England Patriots and has been the most successful pass rusher for the Patriots over the last few seasons. Someone who's super versatile, can play at defensive end. We see him a lot at defensive tackle. With Adam Butler and potentially Lawrence Guy leaving, we need a guy who's able to get pressure within the interior of that defensive line. Dietrich Wise can do that. He already knows the system, and he is able to play at defensive end. I know that he signed a 4-year deal, but I don't believe the exact numbers have been given out just yet. Now, next up here, the Patriots made a really surprising move at wide receiver by signing wide receiver Nelson Agholor, a former Philadelphia Eagle and most recently a Las Vegas Raider. They signed him to a 2-year deal worth $26 million. I'm gonna give this one overall a B+, and I give this one a B+ because he's gonna help the Patriots move the chains. And you know what? Actually, I'm gonna give this one a B. I like the addition of Agholor. He isn't exactly my first option, not necessarily giving the Patriots a #1 receiver. Maybe he could turn into that for sure. He has the ability to, but straight off the bat, he's not gonna bring in a for sure #1 receiver aspect. But after the signings of 2 elite tight ends, 2 top tight ends in the league in Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, I don't think the Patriots are necessarily going to need as a revamped wide receiver core as originally thought upon before. Agholor is coming off a season in which he played a full season, and he was able to record 48 receptions on 82 targets for almost 900 yards and was averaging 18.7 yards per reception, which is just unbelievable. If your quarterback is Cam Newton, we're going to want to move the chains and have threats down the field. And the thing with Cam Newton is that he excels as a passer down the field. Him as a deep passer is much, much better than how he passes to the short to intermediate routes. Questions here are definitely, how is Nelson Agholor going to perform with the Patriots? He performed really well with the Raiders. They utilized him much better than the Philadelphia Eagles did. So are the Patriots going to get a Philadelphia Eagles version of him or the Raiders version of him? He is making a good portion of money, but that number is going to be a bit lower than most people expect for this upcoming season. So it's not too bad, but possibly a little overpriced depending on how he plays. The big problem with him is drops. That's a big concern for me. So we're going to have to see how that pans out. Now, next up here, the Patriots re-signed another player in defensive lineman Carl Davis. I'm not going to go into this one too much. I did an analysis on the signing of Carl Davis, or the re-signing of him, which you guys can check out just like I did with all the other guys I'm talking about. But I'm going to give this one a B+. I like the addition of Carl Davis a lot, and he performed really well in the few games we saw him with the Patriots this past season. We don't know the terms of this deal. Again, my guess that I told you guys was probably just a one-year prove-it deal worth the veteran minimum, and if that is the case, the Patriots are getting a very good player at a very minimal price and is going to be a very nice depth piece for the Patriots. Now, could the Patriots have definitely went and signed a better player than Carl Davis? For sure. But again, if we're getting him for just a one-year deal worth the literal minimum, then this is definitely a good depth piece. Now, next up here, the New England Patriots signed another wide receiver, former 49ers receiver in Kendrick Bourne. They signed him to a 3-year deal worth $22.5 million. Guys, I'm giving this one straight up an A+. This is a guy that I've raved about over the past couple of seasons. I had the Patriots signing him in one of my recent videos. I said the Patriots should target him last offseason. He is a great fit for the Patriots, and I cannot stress that enough, and I'm happy that they got him signed long term. He's someone who is really good with short area quickness, good at running routes, good at getting separation, and good at getting open. The best way that I can kind of compare him for Patriots fans to understand is that his play is not a Nelson Agholor, it is not a N'Keal Harry, it is not a Brandon Cooks. He plays in the aspect of a Jacoby Myers, of a Julian Edelman, of a Wes Welker, of a Danny Amendola, of a Chris Hogan. That is the type of player he is, and I think that he is just going to flourish tremendously with the New England Patriots. And with Julian Edelman possibly being out, I think an addition like this is very needed, so I'm happy they got a deal done. Now, next up, the Patriots signed another player, a divisional rival, and they signed a defensive tackle in Henry Anderson. Now, they signed him to a 2-year deal worth up to $7 million, and that deal does include a lot of incentives that could bump him up to $11 million if he does hit them all. I'm going to give this one a B. I do like the addition of Henry Anderson, especially as a divisional rival. A 2-year deal is going to add some insurance to the defensive line, and they're getting a pretty good deal for him. He actually ranked 3rd in run stuffs and stopping the run this past season, so the Patriots, Belichick is really trying to thrive at making this defensive line able to stop the run, which was a big problem for them this past season. He's someone that has the ability to get to the quarterback, is not great at it though. I don't expect him to put up 3+ sacks, but there was a season a few years ago where he put up 7 sacks on the season. So somehow Belichick could get that player. My grade definitely goes up, but he really only had one good season where he was able to get to the quarterback. But as a guy who can stop the run, he's definitely elite at that, and it's a really good addition for the price. And on day 2, the New England Patriots woke up. They made one move, but they made a very big and very surprising move as they signed free agent tight end Hunter Henry to a 3-year deal worth $37.5 million, which includes $25 million guaranteed. Honestly, kind of surprised on this one because they signed Judon Smith, right? I don't think any of us expected to see this one coming. I'm going to break down Judon Smith and Hunter Henry in another video, kind of compare them and talk about how Belichick could really utilize them. But 2 tight end sets are going to be back in New England. That's obviously the big thing to talk about. Something Belichick hadn't really done since a Martellus Bennett and Gronk, kind of, because Gronk got injured that season, but more specifically a Gronk and an Aaron Hernandez. So I'm super excited to see a blast from the past. But honestly, I thought that Hunter Henry would have been a player that got signed to a bigger deal than Judon Smith, but surprisingly, that wasn't the case. Overall, I'm going to give this one an A to the New England Patriots. I mean, this is a great signing. Hunter Henry is a great player. He's ranked a little bit higher than Jonnu Smith, despite what the contract says, and the New England Patriots have 2 top tight ends in the league, which is just bizarre. I didn't see it coming. If you watch my video on him, you will hear that I did not see it coming. But really, it is a great signing that is going to go a long way for the New England Patriots. And I know this is someone that Belichick has wanted for a long time. But before we end this one off and I give you guys my grades on what I'm going to give Bill Belichick for the first 2 days of free agency, I want to let you guys know about my boys and the sponsors of this video, betonline.ag. Now, BetOnline has the fastest and easiest ways to bet on all of your sports action. Football might be over, but the NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are still in full swing. And BetOnline even covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV. They also have real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine, and it is completely free to sign up, and they got you covered with news, scores, and odds. All you guys got to do is head to the website or use your mobile device right now to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. This is BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore, guys. Get in with the action, and do not forget to use that promo code CLNS50 for 50% off on your welcome bonus. All in all, the grade I'm going to give Bill Belichick for the first 2 days of free agency is an A+. I don't think you can argue with that. Look, I think if you're going to argue with that, you're kind of complaining. What Belichick is doing is something he's never done before. The way that he's splurging is something we might not see for many, many, many more years to come. And Belichick has taken this team from a low-tier team who's talked about being 3rd in the AFC East to now potentially being the kings of the AFC East again and being playoff contenders. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Let me know in the comment section below what you're thinking about the Patriots 2 days and their splurge in free agency. Like always, I'm Patriots Global. Make sure you guys leave a big like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news, and I'll catch you in the next one.